Trump drops the hammer on the filibuster. We're going to get into his giant plan, how it affected world peace, how it affected everything, and how he even dominated a 60 Minutes interview. The left is in turmoil, but Trump still represents solid MAGA going forward. All good news. Welcome to Doug In Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Part of why we're happy is because Trump keeps winning. He makes it look easy. It's actually very difficult to do. I think he's brilliant. But let's get to this. This is his tweet. And I just want to kind of frame this with, look at Mike Davis up here. Now, Mike Davis is someone I respect a lot. I think he's true MAGA, probably my top tier MAGA guy. And he's a legal scholar. I believe he clerked under Gorsuch. And he says, Trump is right. Senate Democrats will nuke the legislative filibuster to go from 60 to 51 votes to pass anything the next time they control the White House and the Senate. So the filibuster in the future is already dead. So the idea that we're going to preserve the filibuster and force all of our votes to have to get a 60 vote majority to give power to guys like Massey and Ron Paul and the kind of outliers, and to really strangle Mike Johnson's work that he needs to do, and all of our congressional leaders, what they need to do. This will multiply our votes if we remove that filibuster. It's already going to be removed under the Democrats. Here's Trump's all caps tweet: terminate the filibuster, not just for the shutdown, but for everything else. We will get all of our common sense policies approved. Voter ID, anyone? Now that is key to Trump, because voter ID, that is needing to present an ID for your vote, is the greatest threat to Republicans losing 2026 and Trump being impeached and thrown in prison for life. It could also affect J.D. Vance becoming president in 2028. I'm all for removing the filibuster because it's just a tradition. I mean, we like our traditions, but, we're beyond tradition now. And make America great again. Remember, the Democrats will do it immediately as soon as they get a chance. Our doing it will not give them the chance. Republicans, be tough and smart. He's right. The Democrats are crazed lunatics. Also true. That's not hyperbole. They will not open up our country, no matter how many people are irreparably harmed. That's wisdom. We're going to go into more wisdom. Here he is on 60 Minutes with Norah O'Donnell.
But we're cleaning up our cities. I campaigned on crime, but I've done a much better job on crime than I thought. The crime numbers are way down, even though we have a lot more people in our country that really shouldn't be here, and many of them are stone cold, hard criminals. When I look at D.C. now, you can walk down the middle of the street. You can have your daughter, who's 10 years old, meet you at the park. She's going to be okay.
In certain parts of D.C.
Well,
I live in D.C.
Well,
certain parts
you
of
tell
DC.
me. How big a difference is D.C. now compared to what it was a year ago? Right? I mean, you have to be honest with me.
She's nodding. She lives there. So she walks those streets. How big of a difference? That's the bottom line, is did it work? Is it working?
People in the White House, they walk up to me, young ladies I've never seen, sir, thank you very much. I know they don't even have to tell me what they're thanking me for. But when I ask why, he said, one girl said, I'd get into Uber, and I felt dangerous even in Uber. They'd attack the car, okay? It wasn't even safe then. Sir, I now walk to work every day, and I'm so safe. There's nothing going to happen, 100% safe. And you know that too, Norah.
I want to ask you about
You live here, you know that too.
I want to ask you about
Do you see a difference?
American
Do you
cities
see a difference?
in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
I think I've been working too hard. I haven't been out and about that much.
Oh, that's not a fair answer. You see a difference.
Well, that's a 60 Minutes dodge. Do you feel a difference? I work too hard. I don't see it. She'll do anything to not concede the point. I'm sorry, but if you work that hard that you can't tell that there's less murderers outside, that's a dereliction of duty as a journalist. You're lost credibility. Here's Ricky Gervais. Now, this is what Trump's trying to stop. What happened in Britain is they allowed all of their criminal terrorists to walk the streets. And now here's a real ad from Ricky Gervais for his vodka company. He says, welcome to London. Don't forget your stab vest. Don't forget your stab vest. That's an advertisement for booze. And part of why Ricky Gervais is such a successful comedian, he's the one that started the whole The Office franchise. Part of what makes it so successful is there has to be a little truth in it. It's like, ha, ha, ha. The Brits are kind of laughing. Ha, ha, ha. Welcome to London. Here's your stab vest on a subway, on the tube. And we're going to go into more of that on how do you stop what happened to Britain here. Trump is stopping it here. History will remember him as we opened the floodgates of illegal immigrants. Biden did. When I say we, Biden opened the floodgates to illegal immigrants coming in. And the Mexican immigrants, as murderous as they are, they're not even as threatening to me as as the Islamic radical terrorists that are here. But if you open those floodgates, you don't control who comes into your country. And Trump, all he's doing is, my dad taught me about preventive maintenance on my car. You don't wait till the oil runs completely out before you change your oil. Why? Because for a couple bucks for a quart of oil, you can save thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage on your car engine. That's what Trump's doing with preventing a hostile future. We were at a tipping point. Without voter ID, they would manipulate our votes just by bringing in the numbers. That's why they needed the 11 million minimum illegals coming in here, and then protect voter ID, and then give them our welfare and our rights, which Schumer's doing to protect right now in the government shutdown, trying to protect their freebies. And we're paying for it. In the not so distant future, this is Neil Berg, Trump will probably have to make a similar tweet about the United Kingdom. I'm not even exaggerating. What is he going to say about the United Kingdom? Here's Trump. If the Nigerian government continues to allow killing Christians, and this is what he's saying could be said about England, if the English government, if the Brits continue to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country, quote, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I support this. Now, people say, oh, don't get involved in foreign wars. I don't believe that. I'm not an isolationist. I do believe in protecting Christians in other countries. Is that radical? Do you guys, I want to especially reach out to the isolationists in my audience and the ones that are against starting wars. This is about starting a war, a religious war. And everyone goes like, oh, religion, that's the cause of every war. Actually, it's atheism that allowed the Muslims to do what they do, protects them. I am hereby instructing our Department of War, that's to Hegseth, to prepare for possible action. That's a threat, so the Nigerian government has to go, uh-oh. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet. Sweet. It is pleasant to kill evil that is killing Christians. And I agree. That is righteous anger. Just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. In all caps, Trump is dropping the hammer on them. This is going to be brutal. They'd better listen because he will do it. But I assume they're going to go, holy crank, we better do something about our own borders. Now, this is Michael G. Waltz with some backup on that. He's the ambassador to UN on Fox News, talking about 78 countries and how Christians are the number one people being attacked around the world. I know there's a lot of heat on the Jews too, and everyone talks about the Jews. Their numbers are nothing compared to the Christians being mowed down. Are we going to stand by? You know, the parable of the Good Samaritan is that if you have the ability to do something, the unique ability, when someone is suffering and you walk past them, you're a Pharisee. In fact, it was the Pharisees that walk across the street at the evil Samaritan who is suffering, the man that is suffering, and it's the Samaritan, an evil person, who comes and helps him. And Christ says, that's my guy, the one who goes and helps.
78 countries, 330 million Christians being persecuted around the world. It is the most persecuted religion.
330 million, that's like the size of our country worth of Christians being actively, and I'm talking about being skinned alive. It's a horror. I can't even show, obviously I would never show that video, but it's a horror. If you let your imagination go to how evil a human being can be, that's what the radical Muslims are doing to Christians, and they get away with it in other countries.
Across the Middle East and Africa and elsewhere. And to your point, relative silence from the international community. It is in the UN Charter as a basic human right. It's one of the things that Nicki Minaj is going to come over, and we're going to have her talk to the UN, talk to our experts.
I showed Nicki Minaj's tweet from last week. This is a pop star. She has giant implants and she has a very foul mouth and she's very street. But she came out and complimented Trump for taking a stand with Christians. And now she's going to come and address the UN. This is populism, guys. This is Trump's great strength. And this is a common sense person, Nicki Minaj, who's coming in and brings her celebrity and credibility. I celebrate that. It might be the only thing good that this famous person ever does. We should applaud it, even though she's a hoe. And Trump is going to do something about this. And I like what the ambassador said. I don't like it, but it reveals the West has done nothing. We've cast a blind eye. And though UN has a charter of these human rights violations, they'll spend all their days condemning Israel and will not mention the Muslim murder of 330 million Christians that they're trying to intimidate.
And actually hear from some of these pastors and others that have been so horribly persecuted. And I really welcome her engagement and her spot.
I think Trump is amazing for this. I also welcome Nicki Minaj. Now here's Bill Maher on Trump's fantastic work with Saudi Arabia. This all ties together, guys. Trust me on this one.
That the other presidents do, like, well, we have to be even, Stephen. Maybe who knows who's right? The people who treasure life or the people who treasure death? Right. And he was like, where would you live, Ramallah or Tel Aviv? You live in Tel Aviv. Right. A society that resembles yours and has shared values. Not letting women be free to dress as they want and covering their faces and stuff. That's not our values. No. Are you kidding? So
that's the actor Michael Rappaport. He was in True Romance and that John Singleton movie about a campus. But he is a very pro-Israel guy, and he's had to come around and warm up to Trump. He went from calling Trump terrible, terrible names to now Trump is his only ally in leadership.
He said, no, I'm with Israel. Period. Let's see how this works out. I'm with Western values. Right. I think democracy is better than theocracy. Now, we can also go into the discussion about how the horrible things he's actually doing to democracy in this country. But for this discussion just about the Middle East, how about this? The Jews love him more than any president ever. And the Arabs do too. Right. That's quite a hat trick. Right. You got to give it up for that one. Right. That's quite a trick. Right. That the Saudi Arabia, they all, they kind of relate on you like gold everything? Right. I like gold everything. Right. And also
there's a bigger strategy than this. He doesn't quite get it, and I'll unpack it in just a minute, but I'll let him get through this bit.
The Trump doctrine is really, we don't judge you. You know what? You cut the head off a journalist. Yeah, I wouldn't do it, but, I'm just not going to judge. Now, you can say that's right or wrong, but here's the fact.
I'll say cutting the head off a journalist is wrong.
Biden wouldn't talk to him for a year after that and then had to. He went over there and he fist bumped the guy who did it, the guy who said, we're not talking to you anymore, because it's Saudi Arabia. You can't ignore them. You can't. They're the counterweight to Shiite Iran, and they are the people who have the oil.
Yep. This is why we have to get involved in other countries. There's a lot of isolationists going, why are we even talking to Saudi Arabia and Israel? Because you end up preventing, that's what all the neocons were defending, and I'm sympathetic to it. I just don't agree with their specific tactic on it, but I agree with the theory. The way that you prevent world wars is you go in and you start using your power and flexing in other countries. Now, we can argue on the tactics of that, but it does make sense. If you want to protect your oil, you got to get in bed with Saudi Arabia. If you want to protect your medical patents and your military tech, then you chum up with Israel. And Israel does all your dirty work helping you take out Iran. There is 1/3 of the world that Trump is influencing for the good. And it has not cost us our soldiers on the ground yet.
So you can't not deal. So, again,
it's a miracle that he got those people home, the 20 people home.
That's the bottom line. He's a Jew. To all the Jews that are ripping on MAGA and calling us anti-Semites and racists and pro-Fuentes and pro-Tucker Carlson and all this stuff. You know, never forget, MAGA, it was MAGA, Trump, MAGA, that released those hostages that the neocons and the anti-Trumper Jews used to say was a pretty cool accomplishment. And now they're like, what have you done for me lately? Now we're going to get into this Trump thing on Saudi Arabia. I don't need to play this clip because actually this tweet is more interesting on the strategy of what Trump did, which is a masterclass. Listen to this. This clip is extremely important. Saudi Arabia are one of the central players in the global game of thrones. Trump teases that Saudi Arabia are going to join the Abraham Accords and highlights how striking Iran's nuclear facilities pave the way for the peace deal with Saudi Arabia and Israel. And the reason why they're called the Abraham Accords is because they call him Father Abraham. Abraham is the one uniting feature of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. We all have Abraham backs. That's why they called him the Abraham Accords. He's essentially confirming that he made a deal with the Saudi crown bin Salman and the leaders of the Muslim Arab world to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for a peace deal in the Middle East and joining the Abraham Accords. So Trump gave them something and they gave him something, that they would join the Abraham Accords. Saudi Arabia hates Iran and wanted to take out their nuclear facilities because they're a worldwide threat. That's why Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates treated Trump like a king when he visited back in May. That's why Qatar gave him a plane. And see that all the Democrats are playing this surface game, bad tactics of criticizing Trump for taking a plane from Qatar. And really, he's playing this giant long-term thing that prevents worldwide disaster, predictive disaster, which Britain fell into. And now New York is about to fall into. And Trump is trying to save America and therefore saving the world. Because Trump is cleaning up the mess that Obama created with the Iran deal, Trump has already secured a new deal with a Muslim Arab world. And we're just witnessing the rollout. The deal was made long ago. He's thinking ahead to the future. Now, here's that Jack Ciattarelli ripping on Barack Obama. Ciattarelli is running for New Jersey governor. And this is about the legacy of Trump versus Obama in this short clip.
Obama said you're sucking up to Trump.
Who said that?
President Obama. Is that
President who?
Yes, exactly.
President who? Exactly. That's Barack Obama's legacy. They're going, Obama said Trump's sucking up to the bad guys. And he goes, President who? Obama's legacy is nothing. He did not predict the future the way Trump did. He did not help the future with long-term things. His Obamacare is practically bankrupt. And that's why the Democrats also have to shut down the government to try to get more money to save this giant lie that you can keep your doctor, that rates are going to go down. Everything that he said about Obamacare was a lie. Poorly funded, needs to be rescued now, and Trump is just calling him out on it. Now here's Trump refused the 60 Minutes lady when she's talking about ICE. And this is how the press treats his amazing work on the streets of busting illegals.
More recently, Americans have been watching videos of ICE tackling a young mother, tear gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood.
Okay, so she's bringing up, this is what they always do. This is also, by the way, what Gaza did against Israel. Israel fights back, bombs the hell out of Gaza, these brutal animals, but they have all their military establishments hidden in schools and hospitals. So you blow up a hospital. And in the news, like what they're doing here on 60 Minutes, they show you the people blown up in a hospital and go, that's Israel's fault. And they're doing it here too. They're trying to tug on your heartstrings when they show ICE slamming that woman to the floor, and they're like, as if they knew she was pregnant. They're like a mother to the floor. The poor thing. You know, she's probably threatening them with their lives.
And the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's okay. They haven't gone far enough. I agree, because they didn't show the video footage, say, of a 14-year-old girl being sexually assaulted by some homeless illegal alien thug, or 14 of them piled up on her. Show that video, the video that no one can show. You know what I mean? Or a young 14-year-old shooting another 14-year-old and then not getting any prison time. Show the close-up video in slow motion of a 14-year-old black kid getting shot by another kid. They won't show you that, because that would tug your heartstrings in support of Trump.
Because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
Yeah, they were murderers and they came over here for asylum, and boy, did they get it. And now I like ending on a humorous note. This one killed me when Trump weighs in on Mamdani, who's running for mayor of New York, the communist.
Zohran Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the
communist, not socialist, communist. He's far worse than a socialist.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better looking person than him, right?
I think I'm a much better person than him. And then he goes to her, right? I love him. We're winning all the way. I hope you guys have subscribed. That's how you say thank you. More news to come right here on Doug in Exile.